Before we get started on how to use latent learning with your canine, I first want to go over why food is not used in latent learning. No matter how a puppy misbehaves or how upset the mother gets with her litter, she will never stop feeding them or withhold food for a lack of following a command. The puppies always eat before retiring to bed. She also doesn't provide food to encourage good behavior. Education is education, just as eating is eating. A canine mother knows best how to control and manage her litter with absolutely zero training. In regards to food, your puppy is firmly held by the smells because they fill both their senses and nostrils. Despite the fact that a puppy seems to pick things up and perform things for a food reward, a canine is incapable of latent learning in the presence of food. Instead, the behavior is altered with operant conditioning, a stimulation and response theory by scientist B.F. Skinner. But this has nothing to do with self-awareness or cognitive learning. Instead, your puppy is blindly conditioned, working in a robot-like fashion and not getting the opportunity of self-aware learning. Remember that in Tolman's rat maze experiment, the rats were not capable of creating a cognitive layout of the maze once they were aware that food was present. The food itself was distracting them from latent learning. While drunk with desire for the presented food lure, your canine will repeat a pattern of conduct in a zombie-like manner. Sadly, your dog will always need to be controlled and micromanaged with obedience commands with this method of learning. With the use of food, historically, your dog's training will stay at a substandard level. Additionally, your puppy is already wired and naturally motivated to latent learn from birth. Like any puppy, this curiosity is what triggers the learning process, especially when there are no substantial distractions such as food, rewards, or toys that draw your dog's attention away from the environmental learning at hand. Now, as we progress on how to use latent learning, it's critical that everyone understands that if they wish to help dogs without using tools or giving them treats, it can only be done completely latently, which means no dog training is required. I'm referring to operant conditioning when I say zero dog training. Other than operant conditioning, there are other ways to learn, which I believe trainers don't examine very often. Latent learning is not about what to do or how to do it, but rather about what not to do, such as the desire to protect your dog from natural environmental discomfort. Dogs need to experience and learn from their surroundings, but when you micromanage and blindly condition them to hyper-focus on you and your commands, you are constantly interrupting them from taking in information from their surroundings because you are selfishly bringing all of the attention back onto yourself, rather than giving what the dog's needs first before asking for your own needs and demands in return. Over the years, I've made some fascinating discoveries and relationships that have brought me to where I am now. I have learned that it is difficult to teach latent learning to owners and trainers who have been using operant conditioning for so many years, including myself. In fact, many trainers and owners wrongly condition themselves, not just their dogs, and become caught in a mindset that prevents them from evolving. Owners and trainers are so conditioned to think in operant conditioning terms that they can't see or understand anything else. It's as if you've gone back to square one and have to learn how to work with dogs all over again. Yes, you have to start over. And most owners and trainers don't want to, so they become resistant to change. Well, let's start from the beginning, and let's start with puppies. The puppy program. First thing we'll go over is destructive chewing. To stop destructive chewing, you should first cease doing whatever it is that is causing the chewing in the first place. This involves not buying or encouraging dog toys to begin with. I know what the majority of you are thinking right now. I thought I heard you mention that pups should not be given toys. Is it possible that I misunderstood you? Teething, boredom, irritation, anxiousness, and protecting your furnishings from being ruined are all fantastic reasons to play with toys. Yes, it's popular dog training advice all over the internet. But is there a latent reason why you shouldn't use toys? Absolutely. There is no such thing as dog toys. Wolves and dogs do not provide toys to entertain their pups. Toys disrupt a puppy's life and evidently teach 100 or more undesired micro-behaviors, such as becoming familiar with chewing man-made materials whenever they are bored and stressed or need stimulation. It draws them away from natural latent learning and encourages them to engage in non-productive entertainment-oriented activities. The worst of which makes it difficult for a puppy to understand the value of mental rest, not stimulation. Give a bone to a puppy. This isn't a toy. If the dog wants to use the bone as a toy, that's fantastic. That's excellent latent learning. Well, what is the takeaway? There's no need to develop compulsive, stimulus reactive behavior or resource guarding when you can produce what you want with the resources you currently have, while also not having to hire a trainer for a future behavioral issue that you caused to begin with by blindly conditioning your dog and encouraging the use of dog toys for boredom, anxiety, or frustration. This will just educate your puppy that similar textured objects, such as the rubber bottoms of shoes or the plush substance of your furniture, are suitable outlets for boredom and irritation. Just you and toys have taught them. Fetching with toys that can be tossed are also completely detrimental to ruining a healthy dog's cognitive thinking. Toys are a completely waste of money. With all that wasted money, I'd rather buy a second puppy. There should be no hunting. Nothing should be thrown for your dog to chase, not even playing with a ball, which is a form of mock hunting. Anything that makes a young puppy go into prey drive is too much for them to bear. It's like handing the keys to the casino to your grandparents. They will break the bank, come back broke, and blindly condition to the inconsistent reward schedule of the slot machines. With an adult dog, the preceding guidelines will also get you started with a dog that already has small animal prey drive. It only takes a few seconds to figure out why squeakers are so appealing to dogs. Squeaky plush toys encourage your dog's natural hunting instincts. Terriers, for example, were developed to keep rats off the streets of the United Kingdom. When a little animal like a rat is being hunted, what noises do they make? When a dog recognizes when it's time to shred its prey, how does it know? For those who said when the squeaking stops, you figured out why dogs only shred soft toys when the squeaker breaks and stops working. Our domestic pets' genetic code is profoundly embedded in them. Any trainer working with controlled aggression, such as a canine protection trainer, is well aware that the best way to develop a puppy's protective instincts is to stimulate hunting using toys and flirt poles. They also advise against comforting and petting a growling dog since, as protection trainers, they're already familiar with how aggression is nurtured. Traditional dog training was pioneered by the military, but most dog owners want a self-sufficient companion that they can take camping, hiking, shopping, and dining with them. A hyper-focus driven dog is not what owners want while having family over for the holidays. The examples in the preceding paragraphs show how poor training can blindly predispose dogs to acquire behavioral disorders. Less is more when it comes to latent learning, the distinction between raising a puppy instead of training a puppy. Puppy mouthing. Ouch! I believe that pet owners should consider what they are doing to encourage undesirable behavior in the first place. Stopping the energy flow and the dog's behavior alters quickly once they figured out where the energy is coming from. Do you use a high-pitched voice to overexcite your puppy? If that's the case, stop.
We're going to learn to be able to play together, but in a bit more of a controlled manner. Whew, that was a chewy one. Ready? Playtime. 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 Yay! Good boy. Now he wants to play with the lines. I'm just going to move it. Try to provoke him with me instead. Yay! Good boy. Hello? Look how big you are. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hello, gorgeous.
When I do this exercise, I'm only doing this exercise because I've conditioned their behavior to respond by certain ways of me handling them and touching them. He's already relaxing in my arms because of the past training I've done. And I've been doing this with him, including his brother, Kiaya, who turned 12 weeks old. So my first thing that I like to do is, he's already getting lintfish on me, but I like to hold tight, and if I feel that he's relaxed, I just go relax. When he looks like he's about to move, I squeeze, it's like a hug, and when body relax, boom, I also relax. So he's getting this understanding of kind of a pressure release. It's very similar to kind of the force transfer. Now what I like to do is once I realize...
In my house, there is a rule. Don't bite me. I don't waste a single second trying to figure out why. I have no way of knowing what an animal is thinking. All I can see are his acts. It makes no difference why a puppy might bite me. I just know it's not acceptable conduct in my house. My pets do not engage in it because I don't do anything to encourage it in the first place. I don't need to yell, spray, or make a big fuss about it. I also feel that pet owners should think about what they are doing to encourage unwanted behavior to begin with. When you stop the flow of energy, the dog's behavior changes fast after they figure out where the energy is coming from. Neither I nor any of my other pets engage in this behavior. As a result, mouthing has a slim possibility of even being established within my household. Puppies know that you are not a littermate right away, so they should not treat you like one. Never do anything that would lead them to assume that you are an oddball canine substitute. You don't want to undo the work of Mother Nature when a puppy comes into your life. It's already set up for success. Let the universal truths of nature guide you. It would be a form of extinction, which is defined as the loss of a behavior as a result of lack of a reward. It's basic course in Psychology 101. If nipping or mouthing becomes a habit, you'd have to take preventative steps. Fortunately for my puppies, I have never acquired mouthing as a bad habit. It's incredible. You don't have to deal with trashy habits that should have never happened or developed in the first place that you have to train and fix later. My dogs and I enjoy spending time together, and we also cherish our freedom. I reside in a forested area in North Carolina with local deer to keep us company. My dogs must be attentive at all times. They can't possibly be barking at bears, deer, or squirrels. I have to put my faith in them to maintain their composure. I make no attempt to improve evolution. All you perceive when you look at wild creatures is magnificence. Then, we as humans come into the possession of them, and then all we perceive are problems. Because natural learning works for me, I cling to the path of least resistance, which is starting to come easily to me. Step 1 of mouthing: what are you doing to generate the unwanted behavior to begin with? If you don't find it out, situations that should be resolved in hours will take months, if not years, to resolve. So start making a list. Some examples can be found below. Number 1, do you pet your puppy on the head or face all the time? If this is the case, come to a halt. There are numerous pleasant spots to share affection with your dog than having your hands in their face all the time. Even for humans, it is not customary to greet your boss at work by touching their face. Yet we find it okay to do that to animals that we even have just met for the first time. 2, do you overexcite your puppy by speaking in a high-pitched voice? If this is the case, stop doing that. 4, do you become irritated when they mouth you or bite you and still engage with them on the floor at their level? Come to a complete halt and walk away if this is the case. 5, your puppy is not properly reading the human and environment, but instead, your puppy is reacting to the human and environment. Hence the old saying, learn to read the room. Your puppy, so to speak, is not reading the room. He's reacting to it. If the above structure isn't functioning, you'll need to hire an expert who can teach you how to do it properly. Separation anxiety and prevention. Remember, in the preceding pages, I indicated that latent learning is more about what not to do than what to do or how to do it. It's about putting an end to what's causing the issues in the first place. Puppy gates are a major no-no in the world of latent learning. Puppy gates are the #1 cause of separation anxiety on our list. You might wonder why. Puppy gates aren't really puppy gates, but rather they're baby gates. A baby gate, also known as a kid safety gate, is a barrier that keeps babies and toddlers out of parts of the house that are potentially dangerous, such as stairwells and kitchens. Keep in mind that I just said keeping them out, not keeping them in. Is there a distinction? Absolutely. Barriers meant for containment, like yard gates, baby gates, dog crates, and even a leash may induce barrier frustration. This can result in a variety of microbehavior issues such as fence fighting and separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is a component of 2 categories. 1, and an imbalanced interest in the surroundings generated by overly enthusiastic people speaking in a high-pitched voice, overtraining, and fostering toy, ball, or food addiction in your training curriculum. In combination with 2, the physical barrier, such as a baby gate, crate, automobile, fence, kennel, leash, or even your house. When these 2 elements are combined, they will start to show as fixation, then obsession, then overexcitement, and finally, emotional frustration. Now let's take a look at what you've learned so far with the data you've just been given. How can we avoid separation anxiety in the future? The first component should be straightforward. For starters, cease doing all you can to prevent making mistakes with the first component. Have you worked out a way to get rid of the second component? You predicted correctly if you said no puppy gates. And this leads us to our next latent strategy. Boundary training. No puppy gates. Remove any baby gates and teach your puppy about household limits that aren't evident. Keep in mind, we're not containing a puppy to a specific area. We are choosing an area that is off limits to the puppy. Not being permitted in the kitchen or splitting your living room in half with your puppy on the portion furthest from the front entrance are 2 fantastic examples. This will also latently transfer to not rushing visitors at the door, jumping on you when you get home, bolting, and of course, even separation anxiety. There is no compliance, no directives, and no conversation on its part of the boundary. If your puppy approaches your side, just reposition them by the collar numerous times without saying anything. Your dog may cross the border if you're not home. But once you come home, you must quickly return them to their boundary. After enough repetitions, the dog will associate that boundary with your body posture and expression, even outside of your home. This will demonstrate to the puppy that your actions, expressions, and body language have meaning. You have value and purpose in his or her environment. One very crucial point to remember is that whatever you decide to set these boundaries, your puppy should be on the halfway point where you are. You are the motivator and value to the whole process to stay within that boundary. Your puppy is just not allowed to follow you off that boundary. While on your side, you should give your puppy the independence and body time it needs, as well as the opportunity to have fun and play. However, if the play should extend over the boundary, you should notice that your puppy comes to a stop. Crate training. Don't do it. The second reason for separation anxiety on our list is crate training. You may be wondering why. Keep in mind that I never said crates are harmful, but the crate training process certainly may be. When you convert your crate into a lesson about attempting to persuade your puppy to use it by tossing treats or using repetitive force, you're attracting too much attention and convincing, which can lead to mental irritation while learning. Even a food lure only rewards the behavior, not the crate itself. Remember that operant conditioning is not cognitive learning. Until the crate door closes, you really have no idea what the puppy is thinking. So how should you crate train your dog? When you're at home, leave the crate door open and let your puppy stay inside on their own. It should not be trained in any way. Create an open space where your puppy is protected from the environmental risks and leave their crate in the confinement area if you need to keep your puppy contained in an area. And consider it like a doghouse. Once in the yard, most dogs will explore and desensitize themselves to a doghouse. They'll figure out how valuable it is on their own. Over time, high-value incentives like a cow foot, marrow bone, or knuckle bone from your local butcher might be offered. Do not squander money on pet shop baked or processed hooves and bones. A butcher is a far better alternative, and a natural bone is far better for diverting unpleasant behavior in place of toys. Processed bones aren't always enough to motivate puppies to change their habits. Collars and harnesses. Let's get naked. In the house, puppies should never wear collars or harnesses. To better understand why, consider what a harness and leash are intended to do. Is it for the purpose of training and control? Then it's the polar opposite of what I'm attempting to share. While you're at home, free of distractions and danger, take advantage of the opportunity to become comfortable physically handling your puppy. This aids in touch conditioning and bonding. Also shows the puppy that your behaviors, attitudes, and body language all have meaning. In his or her environment, you have worth and purpose. I like to share a shared experience with service dog clients and dog trainers. Many people are unaware of how mischievous service dogs can actually be. I frequently receive calls reporting service dogs that are jumping, pulling, or running out the door. When their service dog vest is worn, however, their behavior in public reverts to that of a model canine citizen. My dog only listens to me when he's wearing a pinch collar, but once it's off, he behaves badly. Another regular concern I hear from clients. Maybe your dog will only listen to you if you give him a reward. It's important to remember that canines have a strong ability to link behaviors and patterns. Off-leash training, the invisible leash. Instead of taking the puppy for a short leash walk, take your puppy to an open location where a training line can be set up, about 25-foot light clothesline or a paracord. Play hide and seek and race the puppy while you still can. Get away from your puppy. Turn the tables on the dogs who are always trying to get away from us. You see, dogs perceive speed as a source of strength. Hence, it is a true trait of leadership. When a dog knows you're slower, it's tough to establish genuine leadership. In dog packs, the slower animals are not usually the ones in charge. We must create the illusion of speed by racing extremely young puppies. They'll never forget how quick we are, despite the fact that they were slow at the time. Unfortunately, we teach dogs that people are slow in a variety of ways, and then we lose value to the dog as a result. Introducing dogs. When introducing a new dog, it's better to keep them completely apart at first, allowing them to gently introduce themselves latently, and then they'll naturally grow linked over time. The idea is to spend no time in the home allowing them to form any type of pack structure. The idea is to avoid having a gang of dogs. The idea is to create a community of autonomous thinkers who can work together or independently. You don't want a dog pack, you want a dog family. For this reason, when people first bring a puppy home, I generally say, keep the puppy with you for 2 to 3 weeks without meeting your existing dog. And don't isolate the puppy because the pack eats together and sleeps together. If you isolate the puppy immediately after it's left its litter, it will feel the sense of loss of its pack. It will howl, it will cry, it will get frustrated for safety reasons. But the fact that you won't let it sleep with you or in your room simply tells the puppy that you are not part of our pack. Puppy review. 1. Remove the toys. Give the dog a bone and never toss toys. 2. Take down all baby gates and teach your puppy about invisible household boundaries. 3. When you are at home, keep the grate door open and teach your puppy to stay inside with the door open. Let them do that on their own. 4. In the house, the puppy is always naked, which just simply means no equipment or collars. 5. Never take the puppy on a short leash walk. Instead, take them to an open area with a 25-foot training line. 6. Invisible latent leash. Play hide and seek. Race the puppy while you still have the chance. And 7. Do not make it a habit of allowing strangers to keep touching your dog's face all the time. There are other parts of the body that will carry across affection. It's said that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I hope that after reading this chapter, you have made the connections between current dog training and the association that fosters and blindly conditions behavioral difficulties.
Ever wonder why traditional training methods don't stick with your dog? Meet Tony Neela, a pioneer in canine behavior who believes in the power of cognitive learning. Tony's approach requires 0 treats and 0 tools, 0 dog training, instead tapping into your dog's innate intelligence. Why rely on temporary fixes when you can cultivate a lifelong understanding? Tony's method encourages your dog to think and make decisions, building confidence and problem-solving skills, without the crutch of constant reinforced training. Discover the difference with Tony Nila. His clients have seen remarkable transformations, from enhanced self-control to a deeper connection between pet and owner. Take the first step towards a more understanding and autonomous puppy. Book your free phone consultation with Tony Nila today. Let's unlock your dog's true potential together. Tony Nila's Puppy Education Program, empowering your dog to learn and grow.